So the second game we have for this episode is Cutthroat Caverns, the Anniversary Edition.
The designer is Covert. The artist is Lindsey, and publisher is Smirk and Dagger Games.
So if you're familiar with Cutthroat Caverns, this is the Anniversary Edition where they've upgraded a lot of the components, changed some slight stuff, not a whole lot, and it comes in a cooler looking package. I won't go over like all the idea of Cutthroat Caverns because I don't, well, maybe I haven't even talked about it on the show, so maybe I will. If you're not familiar with Cutthroat Caverns, basically it is a game with, I'm just going to read you the quote on the box, and it tells you everything you need to know. It says, "Without teamwork, you'll never survive. Without betrayal, you'll never win."
That's right.
Oh, but that sums up the game so much, because you do have to work together. You go through, in a full game, it's like 9 stages.
Right.
And it's basically fighting 9 bosses. And each boss has a set amount of hit points that you basically cannot get rid of in one turn. And everybody gets an initiative card. You have a hand of like cards from this massive deck that's in the middle of the table that everybody draws from. And these cards are going to have different damage values on them. There's also some special cards called riders, in which you'll put kind of face down and set attacks. And those will go down and kind of amplify your next attack card or whatever, or they'll stay out there for your next turn. And when you play another card, it might double the damage or whatever. There are special cards like potions that you put in front of you and before the battle and stuff, or you can heal yourself or possibly heal other people and get victory points for it. And they might need it because there is player elimination in the game. If you take enough damage, you are removed from the game. And you want this to happen as a player. The problem is you don't want it to happen too soon, because when you start the game, it sets the game difficulty for each boss. So if you're playing with 6 people, each boss is going to make an attack between the player rounds at a 6-player level, even if there's only 4 of you left. So you need to keep people alive until like the end couple of battles and then stop helping them and let them die off. Because it's not about whoever has the most prestige. It's only whoever has the most prestige and wins and stays alive.
Right.
So as you're playing, basically everybody will get an initiative card. And that's what initiative you're going to go that round. But everybody will select a card simultaneously and put it face down. And then in initiative order, you flip it over and do your damage. And so if I know I'm going like 4th out of 6, I might not want to do a big attack, or maybe I would do want to do a big attack, because the first 3 people are going to do small attacks. And if they do like on average, maybe 25 points, and it's later, we fought this boss like maybe 2 or 3 rounds, I can play like a snipe attack at the end and do a ton of damage and kill it. Because whoever kills the boss is the only one who gets the prestige from it. And you'll get the prestige from that round. Then you'll move on to the next round, fight a new boss, do the same thing. Whoever gets the kill on that, the killing blow, gets the points. And at the end of 9 rounds, whoever has the most points is the winner, if you're alive. And so in the Anniversary Edition, in the regular edition, the player boards are flat. The board that goes in the middle of the table that keeps track of the health of the bad guy is flat. Everything's kind of flat. And the art is probably a little dated at this point. It's still pretty nice. I liked it anyway.
Okay.
But with the Anniversary Edition, they've upgraded the artwork and everything. They left the backs of the cards the same, so you can use the same expansions from the original and bring into this. And the player boards are double layered, kind of like in Scythe and stuff like that, where you have the cutouts to put markers. Right. So like there's no bumping your character sheet and accidentally not knowing how much health you have left. And
you just gotta bump extra hard.
Well, you just gotta bump it extra. Yeah, basically shift the whole table.
Yeah. That was an issue from the original, so that's a big.
It was. I think at one point we started using paper clips or something and attached them to our cards. Because, it was too easy to move around the little disc or whatever.
Yeah.
So, other than that, though, they did add some of the relic cards from one of the expansions. I think it's relics and something. I don't remember the name of the expansion now, but I have them all.
There's a lot of expansions.
There is a lot of expansions. The only one I don't own is the Choose Your Own Adventure book. But
sounds awesome.
Yeah, I know.
Like that one.
I haven't got it. I don't know why I haven't got it, but I need to buy it because I own everything else, and it's in the fresh meat big box. It's totally full. It's so good. Anyway, but we're talking about the Anniversary Edition. So it has some of the relic cards, which are essentially items. They're not handed out the same way that they were. This is kind of like what was it at the beginning of the game?
Oh, I should have prepared.
I don't remember how they're handed out. I think you
No, I do.
You
everybody-
got two and you picked one?
yeah, and then you pass the
Maybe?
second one, and then the other person draws one. Basically, it's
right.
kind of like a weird drafting method.
Mhm.
Isn't that what we did?
Yeah, it is what we did, but that's
Oh.
not. If I remember
Whatever
correctly,
we did was what we were supposed to do.
Okay.
yeah, in the previous one, I think there's a lot of like events and stuff that hand those out.
Oh.
You don't draft them the same way that we did.
So somebody could end up with more than one.
Believe so.
Whoa.
I didn't. You know what? I've played the base game 1,000 times, and then I played the expansions like 3 or 4 times, and then I haven't played it in a while up until now. So it's been so long. I've played so many games. It's hard for me to remember 100%.
Yeah.
But the other thing they did was they have finishers. So like the 9th boss in the base game and the expansions and stuff, that was like you always wanted the epic battle to be last, but
Right.
sometimes the last boss was just weak.
Which was disappointing.
It could be,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it could be
right.
good, especially if you're the last person left.
Or yeah, if you're limping, trying to limp across the finish line,
Yeah.
you're like,
And-
whoo.
In this one,
Easy
the
ones.
last boss is picked from a finisher card, and they are more difficult than the other character or bad guys. And that's good because that will allow, the game to need you to bring people towards the end and not
Yeah.
just finishing them off a couple more back or whatever. It also introduced short and even shorter game lengths,
Mm-hmm.
like 3, 6, and 9 rounds, I think it is. I know for
Sounds
sure
right.
it's 6 and 9.
Right.
That
I don't know why you would play 3 at that point. You might as well just play something else. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't agree with that. I think shorter game lengths.
If you just want a quick filler,
Absolutely. I think that's brilliant.
just hit it up with 3.
You can get the feel of it in 3 rounds. It's fine.
That's true.
well, you can get the feel of the mechanics of the game, but
Yes.
you're not gonna. I mean, I guess the character health does start lower.
It does
Yeah,
to compensate.
right.
Yeah, just change all the numbers. They absolutely needed to do that, and it was one of the best decisions they made.
I'm glad it's in there. I'll probably never play it 3 rounds. I just think that's a
Nah,
waste.
yeah. Six is pretty good.
6 was
If-
great.
Yeah.
9 is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really that long of a game anyway. Did you time it?
I probably did. I'll get back on that.
I don't agree that 9 is awesome.
You don't like 9?
No.
Too long?
Yes.
Why is that?
The nature of the game, the way that the game is played, it is to me more of a filler kind of mechanism that's employed.
How long does it take us?
Well, it says 1 hour exactly, so I think I didn't start it and guessed about. It took us about an hour for 6.
Okay. Well, either way,
An
I
hour,
was-
an hour is perfect.
I was looking through the description to make sure I didn't miss anything that changed. Streamline play,
Mm-hmm.
illustrations, graphics. I think that for me, I don't know if I would mix this in with my original stuff.
Right.
I would
yeah,
keep it separate. It's like you want to play,
Mm-hmm.
maybe short game or whatever, I'll bust that out. If I want to play an epic version of it, I'll just keep Fresh Meat with everything in it and
Yeah.
play that.
Right.
But you could,
If you're new,
well, I guess the player boards are pretty dope though.
oh, they are.
Yeah.
Might as well use those. Yeah.
The components are great. Yeah. Like the
Mhm.
player boards are great. The monster board is awesome because it does lock the disc in. It's dual layered.
Right.
Can you get it all in the same box? Can you get it into the fresh meat?
I
box?
don't think so because the
Oh.
Fresh Meat box is pretty packed tight,
Hmm.
and that's with flat character boards, and these are
Yeah.
like super thick.
Yep.
So I don't think so. I mean, you could carry it separately in its own thing, but whatever.
Hopefully they came up with all the expansion stuff and continue on the anniversary edition stuff.
That'd be
And,
interesting. I wonder if they will.
No, what? I thought you could use the others.
You know, they're
Could,
compatible.
and
Eric's
they're
saying
compatible. But
So
the
why
artwork's
would
going to be
they?
different, and
Ah.
yeah.
no, the art's not. Well, so the only art that's different is the front side.
Well, yeah.
All
No,
the
everything
decks,
you're
all the
looking
decks are the
at.
same on the back.
Yeah, they don't
Right.
need to remake anything. It's
Yeah.
just use the same cards.
No, kind of like,
At this point, the next thing would probably be an anniversary of the
Oh,
entire game in the same in
anniversary
one
big
box.
box?
Yeah,
yeah.
that would be
dope.
awesome.
That would.
Update everything because then you could change the backs of the cards, which I mean, they look
The backs
fine,
are fine, right?
but if you update the graphic style, then they would be out of place.
Right. And that's what I'm really talking about.
Yeah.
It would, you have some cards that have the newer artwork. You have some cards with the older artwork. But if they came out with expansions for the new artwork or like Tim said, a anniversary edition of the big box, with everything in it. I think that would be nice.
It would be cool to have a big box anniversary, like really cool. I mean, I don't know, metal coins for everything. No, it's just, there's way too many tokens for that. That game would be like $1,000.
Figures.
But I don't know. For me, Cutthroat Caverns has always been one of my favorite games, like to play.
It is enjoyable.
It is so much fun. Yeah. And it is absolutely everything that I always complain about, and I love it. It's like, I don't want to play a game with too much take that. Oh, wow.
No. Yes, I'm the same way.
Well, I don't actually feel like there's that much take that, because really you're kind of pulling back at certain times. Or, there's...
It's got that Munchkin style take that, though,
does.
where it's like, you're about ready to win?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Exactly.
Who has a card?
Yeah. So there's a lot of that. But, I mean, if you prepare and, like, save the right cards, you can kind of protect against yourself.
Well, yeah, there is cards in the game that allow you to, someone can affect that card if you play a card with your own portrait on it.
Well, that's true, yeah, because it can't be modified by blue cards or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice feature as well.
That was pretty cool, although I think it's really difficult to get your character's portrait.
Yeah, no, you have to hold on
save
to
it for that specific time.
That's true.
Yep.
I guess that is why it's rare, because if you could just have a lot of opportunities to play that, then it would be too easy.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
The balance is good for the fact that it's not balanced. Like you get random cards and they do crazy things, but even the low cards
are still
are useful because of how the
right. You don't want all just big hitting cards.
Yeah.
Yes,
because
you don't want to be forced to big hit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'll recommend this to pretty much anybody. Especially I would say the anniversary edition, because most people are going to be happy just having the base game.
Yeah.
Especially since they added some of the relics and stuff, and they readjusted some of the enemies. I think a few of them are new to this anniversary. If I remember correctly, a couple of the bosses are new. A lot of them are the same ones from the past, but I think that maybe they have a little bit of retooling as far as the hit points or the damage that they do. And the fact that it has the finishers and stuff, it's just a perfect starting point for Cutthroat Caverns. And if you never get anything past that, then that's fine.
It's a full experience.
It's a great experience. I think the only thing that they could have added to make this even sweeter is some of the event cards, because the event cards are really cool. I really like the event cards.
Oh, they didn't have event cards. We added those.
No. Those relics are like powers or whatever. The event cards are like these square cards that go over, and like on even turns or uneven turns and stuff, they do different things.
Okay.
Too much to explain for this video, but
it's a different expansion.
It's a different expansion that came with event cards, yeah.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, that's how you got the relic cards to begin with.
Oh, so now they wouldn't work? Yeah.
Well, yeah, so like if you were to play this with the expansions and had more relics, because I have like a huge stack of relics, but you get them differently than what this was. It's kind of like they put a little sampler in there and they had to make up a small rule to actually use them.
Yeah, you give out so many at the beginning, but you don't get any more throughout the game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So, I don't know. This is fantastic. I really am excited about the anniversary edition player boards especially. Oh man, those things are awesome.
It's a great presentation. Really fun.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I could just keep talking good stuff, but any final thoughts for you? That was terrible.
No, I enjoyed it a lot. I think it's pretty simple. You can get it to the table with, kids, families. Most people are going to have a good time.
There is a lot of text on the cards.
That is true.
Well, not young kids, but
it says 14 plus.
No, 14.
Yeah,
I'd say 10 plus.
10 plus.
If you're talking
maybe
about
even 8 plus,
a gamer kid like who's already really into games and has a high reading level.
No, Ellie's 8. She does have a high reading level, but I would say she would be able to play it.
Yeah,
okay.
and that's at 8.
Well, and she's played other games. That's why.
All right.
That's true. Yeah. But anyway, good stuff. If you haven't played Cutthroat Caverns, definitely check it out. I would go after this edition before you try to track down all the other stuff, because I would assume the rest of it's out of print at this point.
And like you said, this is all you need.
This is all you need, although there are a couple expansions I would recommend getting to add to this, especially the first expansion, I think. Whatever one adds all the event cards and the The fresh meat box is cool just because it's big. I don't know. It just looks epic at that point. But
yeah.
Anyway, that is it.
I'm not as into the epic version as I would play the short version. Play the shorter version.
Oh, dude, you know how the stack of bad guy cards I have is ridiculous. No. And they all have like their different tokens and stuff. So it's just like a mass amount of tokens that come. Like you start playing, it's like, all right, get the blob or whatever, and you have to go find his specific tokens.
Sure.
The blob's really cool because when you hurt him, he like cuts into like these little tiny tokens, and you have to do damage to each of the tokens. I don't think if I remember, you don't actually use the board for the health. It's like the blob tokens, and when they take enough damage, they separate, and then they separate, and then they separate, and then you get points for killing each one of those.
That sounds awesome. Really fiddly, but cool.
Dude, it's so great. That is one thing I will say about Cutthroat Caverns. Every boss feels totally different than the one you just fought. All of them.
I think even this version comes with, I believe, 25, and even in a long game you play with 9 at random.
So. Yeah.
And they have cool abilities. I agree with you.
Yeah. So cool. All right, anything else?
Good stuff.
Yeah, I liked it.
All right, that is Cutthroat Caverns Anniversary Edition.